No, you don't need the.
I'm doing this my way. He a legend, he a legend, he a legend. He a legend, he a legend, he a legend. He a legend. Welcome to the league, to the league, to the league, to the league, to the league. Welcome to the league, to the league, to the league, to the league, to the league.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Pikel with League of Items. We're about to get into the highlights, but before we get into the highlights, I wanted to say thanks to a couple of people who are reaching out to me and asking about Patreon. So last split, I had a Patreon going on, and I was like selling the sheets that I use to build my own lineups. It has every lineup contained in it, and I think a lot of people didn't understand when they signed up for Patreon what they were getting into, and they were charged based on per creation. I thought it was pretty self-explanatory when you joined, but I guess it wasn't. So a lot of people left. I didn't get any money from those people, so I hope nobody's thinking that I took money from them. Only the people that stayed and intended on helping support me ended up being charged for that much. So what I'm doing is I'm resetting everything. I'm resetting the Patreon, resetting the Discord. So if you're watching and you want to get access to the Discord where I'm going to be participating in conversations and stuff like that, the new way to do it, we're going to do $10 a month. I'm not going to have as much sheets going out and stuff like that. This is really for people who want to support me, help me justify spending the time that I do creating these videos, and stuff like that. So, like it says right on here, DFS Legends get access to a new Discord server. I'll be in the channel answering questions throughout the day when I'm at my computer, while I record lineups, while I record videos, make lineups, and you can have more direct access to me. Anybody who was in the other one knows that I'm very responsive. On Twitter, I'm very responsive. But this way, I can kind of help the people who want to help me. So without any further ado,
welcome back to Summoner's Rift. I just signed up for Patreon and my PP God quadrupled in size. Today we have a salacious set of matches, starting with OMG and V5. Oh my God versus the PP God. We will find out shortly which fans kneel at the altar of a false god. First, in the bot lane, PP God is creeping around in the jungle with his mustachioed mate Graves, who checkmates Ezreal and Yumi with the assistance of TF and Mr. 200 Years. Wee and Sam D secure their third Ocean Draggy and move towards mid lane. They're setting up in the enemy jungle, and Jace decides now is the time to TP. J4 engages with Yumi, but they're rebuffed. Sam D and V5 pick up 3, and pick up Baron. Bew is fighting 2 in the top lane, and manages to take down Jace, before TF faults in and asks, "Xiao, who do you think you are?" Oh, that's not Xiao Hu, never mind. I don't have a TF bit for Mole yet. Mole. V5 victory! V5 takes down game 1, but are they the real deal? In game 2, Olaf decides to take care of the bot lane with his hacker in tow. He passed through Tribush and tries to circumcise the Sam D and PP God. Thresh gets in on the action, hooking Callista, and both members of the Big Dick bot lane are done for. Olaf isn't done though. V5 sends 3 members towards top lane, but GP and Olaf were prepared for their foolishness. Olaf picks up 2 more kills. And if I'm Sam D or PP God, I know what comes next. And no, that is not an ejaculation joke. I wouldn't do that. Olaf is back in the bot lane again, this time taking the root and the stem. Victory 5, more like Varus 5, Like the guy from Game of Thrones. He's a eunuch. He doesn't have a... Yeah. OMG is running down mid lane, trying to finish off the PP God and the rest of the squad. Terex ult can't save Callista, and even though they take down Olaf, the fight is lost. After baiting out Terex ult once again, Olaf burns his ult and runs into the jungle, setting up good engage conditions for both teams. Aphelios and Callista, trading kills throughout the teamfight, leave Renekton and GP as the only survivors for their respective teams. V5 is in desperation mode, starting Baron in full sight of OMG. Renekton TP's in, and Syndra falls first. Renekton eventually perishes, while Callista finishes Baron. But it's an ace for OMG, and that's a Game 2 victory. In Game 3, V5 dominated the early and mid game, setting themselves up for an easy Infernal Soul. OMG tries to engage before they can spend the rest of their gold, but it fails miserably. Now it's OMG's turn for a desperation play. And after a great engage from Secret Agent Set, Bard catches Aphelios with his ultimate, allowing Renekton to get an easy flank on the ADC. After a disappointing spring, the LPL said, "Show me what you got," and V5 unleashed the big Sam D, supported by the god of PP. Their enemies' reactions? OMG. LGD and E-Star both make their first appearance on the Rift in a closely contested Game 1. E-Star has managed to take the first 3 dragons, but LGD has a gold lead. E-Star has the inside position on Dragon Soul, but TF has other ideas, attempting a risky engage with Hecarim. E-Star was ready for their shenanigans and easily wins the teamfight, allowing them to secure Dragon Soul and Baron. E-Star is setting up a flank in the enemy jungle with a 4k gold lead. Blitz Hex flashes over the wall and chases down 3 members of LGD. He manages to hook Peanut, who looked lost throughout the first game. With their 1-man advantage, they track down the remaining members of LGD and finish off Game 1. Game 2 was in a similar position at the 22-minute mark, where Kindred and Syndra are being flanked after pushing in top. The teleports start, and the Ram God manages to help Syndra and Kindred survive until they're joined by their bot lane. Ornn turns the team fight with his ult, and Ashe downs the Monkey King. After chasing down 3 more members of E-Star, World Elite takes Baron and is in prime position to close out Game 2. Now in the lane with 3 dragons to their name, LGD charges forward and eliminate the tower as Wukong engages with a 4-man knockup. E-Star doesn't have anywhere near enough damage to take down LGD, and it's a slow victory for LGD, but we take those. Game 3 showcased some amazing synergistic team comps, with Heck Yumi, Yumi Olaf, and Ez Yumi against Wukong Galio. After 17 minutes, Hecarim decides it's time to gallop towards the enemy team and ults 3 in Tribush. E-Star turns with Galio ult, but Callista has already died. E-Star manages to kill 3, but LGD wins the team fight. After getting another dragon, E-Star has soul point, but decides to press LGD in the mid lane. Callista sends in Thresh, who misplays, missing his flay on Ezreal, who narrowly escapes, almost certain death. Yumi's ultimate spells disaster for E-Star, with Thresh and Callista quickly dying. Xie flashes forward for another kill on Galio and securing Baron. Hecarim is taken down in the top lane, but 4 members of LGD still have Baron and siege mid. The time is now for E-Star, who commits to an engage mid with a 1-man advantage and a flank from Galio. The engage is almost perfect, but they don't manage to take down Ezreal, who is fed out of his mind. It's gonna be a pentakill for Ezreal. What a game. Kramer, you're amazing. Kramer, just a great guy. Great guy. Pentakill. Nope. Mark, the new guy, new substitute guy, big funny guy, stealing pentakills. He's gonna get kicked off the team. You heard it here first. Kick him off the team. My DraftKings lineups really needed their last kill. Mark, scumbag Mark. Bad guy Mark. Mark's a horrible guy. I hate Mark. But you know what? It's fine. GG, LGD, great victory. You gotta take those, I guess. Just hit the towers. Hit the towers. End the game, please. Come on. I've got a bet. Just hit... Nope. Hit the towers, please. Please, just hit the towers, end the game. Nexus. Nope. Nope. Hit the... Nope. Yes. No. Go back. No. Oh my god. Come on. I picked you yesterday. Just end the game. Now they're gonna get Dragon Soul. Are you kidding me? What a joke. I never should have trusted you. How are you gonna win if you don't have Ezreal! What a god! Kramer's a god! What an amazing game! Stealing a dragon with a mystic shot. Wow! Mark, you can't steal that one. Xie backdoors the enemy nexus, just like Mark backdoored that pentakill. The pentakill should have been on Kramer.
Before we get started, a special shout out to Kellen Foster, I believe is his name. He had a few suggestions for one-liners to put in the video, and I snuck one of those in there. So Kellen, thanks for the suggestion. If anybody else has a line that they think of or anything like that and they want it to be included in a video, just tweet it to me. Actually, no. If you want something put in the video, from now on, you have to comment it in the YouTube section. The YouTube comment section. This way, we'll get some more comments on the videos. That's thinking. So some good games. V5 beat OMG. I've had some people ask me, do I think that's more of like a damning statement about OMG, or is V5 good? I think that both of these teams are like bottom of the league. V5 beat DMO, who will certainly be one of the worst teams in the league. They beat OMG, which is probably closer to a coin flip, I guess, than the odds that were offered. Maybe not a coin flip. I think that OMG is just struggling right now. This patch is not good for them, and it hasn't been good for them, I think, on the previous split. This kind of jungle carry meta. But V5, I mean, we do just have to kind of take into consideration that they might just have some players that are better or more consistent or less volatile than they were last split. I think that we probably saw the most V5 version of V5 at the end of the split, because at that point they didn't have any victories. They weren't really playing for anything. You might as well go for like those big plays on the stage and stuff like that. But let's get into the results. So as usual, first thing to do, you go into the captain slot. You take this fantasy point number and you multiply it by 0.666, aka the devil. Not the PP god, the devil god. 91.94, 36.16. All right. Might as well just switch this. So jungle, ADC, top. Xiaobai was the top, right? Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I mean, just some crazy scores from these players, like crazy low, because we had 2-2-1s. None of the games, most of the games really didn't get that out of control. So first, let's take a look at the ownership percentage. So we have E-Star, LGD, OMG, E-Star, LGD, V5, OMG, E-Star. So we're starting to see E-Star had a lot of ownership, which was very surprising for me. I thought that OMG would definitely be the highest owned players on the slate. So with a more even dispersion of ownership, maybe players were looking more at salary than they normally do. Personally, I think that salary is just an afterthought in DraftKings slates, especially on 2-game slates. What you're really trying to do is combine two winners, regardless of what their salary is. The implied win rate is normally higher on players with higher salary, so theoretically, if you get closer to the 50,000 salary number, you're going to have a higher percent chance of all of your players winning a match. But in a situation like this where there's two matches, normally picking the two winners is just more important than salary. I think that's just true. So we had E-Stars number 1. Kramer snuck way up there. So I think a trend that we might see is that one of the underdog 80 carries may be inflated with ownership because of game stacks and the traditional stack. So for example, in yesterday's match, if a lot of people were on OMG, the natural thing to do would be take a little bit of savings with LGD and just project it to go favorite wins, underdog wins, or keeps it close, or has like a good 1-2 loss and is just the better loser. So that probably inflated Kramer a little bit, because you're going to do like SMLZ plus the other 80 carry most of the time. That's the most basic stack that's out there. But then OMG Icon was above SMLZ. That is not that surprising, I guess. Icon looked better in their first series. I think Icon has an interesting champion pool. He does play some unique kind of champions that a lot of other mid laners aren't willing to play. But yeah, that separation between him and SMLZ, I don't think that I would do that based off of their individual talent. However, I did want to get Shie into more of my lineups as a captain, because I think that as time goes on and Peanut and Shie play more with one another, I think that they're going to have a good mid-jungle duo, and that's going to increase the chance that Shie has like these extremely high kill score games. Peanut also has a ton of kill score potential, so always looking at him as a captain as well. I had some captain lineups with him, just not enough like combinations of V5 plus LGD, which double underdog is always going to be a little bit less owned. So yeah, we had E-Star. E-Star was the most highly owned team. OMG was second. The carries are still getting a ton of ownership. Then we have OMG, E-Star, E-Star. So let's take a look at individual positions, because this will kind of showcase how crazy the slate was. So Kramer had 91.94. On a normal slate where there's like 5 or 6 games, 91.94 is not even a good... It's almost never the best score on the slate. If there were like 6 teams playing or 10 teams playing, something like that. Sam D, 76.6. Like I said, not a great score if you get the game not played bonus, but in a 2-1, you can kind of justify it. A low kill score in a few of those games, which also had SMLZ not scoring as high. And there's only 5.4 points separating the winning AD carry from the losing AD carry, so that's really interesting. It's always something that you have to take into consideration, like how close are the losers going to be to the winners. And then Wink was nowhere near the rest of them. Let's take a look at mid lane, the second most important position normally, largest to smallest. So we had... This is crazy. Is this right? I mean, this doesn't seem like it's... It is right, actually. It is. So Shie, 71.96. He had a pretty decent series for his first time with LGD. I know that I'm always like really critical of people who says it takes time to blend with a team, but I just mean that in terms of like affecting their winning chances. But the other way to look at it is they're not going to be highlighted with the team as often necessarily. So it's like it's just competing narratives, I guess. And I preferred one of those narratives over the other. Then we have Fen. He came in second place among mid laners, only 2 points behind Shie, and he had a pretty big game 1. I think on Zoe. Then we have Icon was really low. Mole and Icon both really low. Pretty surprising from Mole. But those were like some disjointed team fights and stuff like that, so he just couldn't stay involved. Let's go again. Peanut, 80.96, so 81 points. Everyone else was really low in the jungle. Jungle is normally a spot where you'll be pretty close to the carries in most games. I think Peanut, great player, great upside on all these slates. When people are asking me about one-offs and the captain position, Peanut is always somebody that I want to get exposure to because he can take over an entire series and get a ton of kills. Like, he's not afraid to take the kills for himself because he knows that he can carry. So top lane. Top lane was extremely interesting because we had some substitutions that I mentioned yesterday. So Bew did not have someone to sub in for him on V5. Longshi was the substitute tonight for LGD. So Garvey is an 18-year-old top laner for LGD. He lost game 1. He didn't lose game 1, but his team lost game 1. And I knew it was a sub risk, but I didn't think to myself, if LGD loses game 1 and wins games 2 and 3, they'd probably have Longshi and like get exposure to that. I don't think it ended up winning any contest or something like that. Like, it wasn't the difference between first place and somebody else, because obviously the better stack would be Kramer stack as captain with members from V5 and Bew as the top laner. So you didn't really have to make that decision, but there was upside there. That was a good potential play. That was the big brain play, as I said to somebody on Twitter. So yeah, Garvey was subbed out. Then we have E-Star. They won game 1 with Xiaobai. Then they sub him out in game 2. They lose. And then they bring him back in game 3. So he only had 36. This is a spot where if they won game 3, he would have been fine because he would have had the points from both of the victories and he just would have missed out on the loss. So really not a big deal. It does limit the upside, but I'm not sure they'll do that again. Yeah. Support. The highest support was Mark. That bastard. Stole a quadra kill, not a pentakill, but stole a kill nonetheless. And they were they were laughing about it on stage. They thought it was pretty hilarious. So PP God, the PP God, second of all supports. So we had the winningest, the highest scoring support was from LGD because they had the highest kill score on the day. Second highest was PP God. Cold had a pretty good game in that one victory they had, and Xiaoxi, like the announcer was like, "Oh my God, Xiaoxi's so good," and like he was okay. It's like you're playing Blitzcrank. Your job is to hit a hook. He hit a couple of hooks. Like relax. Can always count on those announcers to give you horrible information. Then we have the team slot. So V5, with that game not played, but wait, they didn't get a game not played bonus. V5, because of how they lost, they had the highest team total. They must have had a couple of dragons in their loss, which is normally how you can get up to like the high 50s, low 60s. I guess the highest theoretical score for a team is high 60s. I think I normally say that because it'd be like 15 plus 26 plus 26, I think. But that was basically it for last night. The winning lineup in the big tournament was duplicated a lot. 91 times. So everyone that chopped for first place got like $800 or something like that. Nothing to be mad at. Just not as good as other days. Let's see. So what do we have here? Okay, yeah. So this is the game. This is the winning lineup. Kramer, Bubu, Peanut, Shie, Sam D, Mark, V5. So it's a traditional stack, 4-3 stack. Had all the winners. Really not that surprising. My lineup was Kramer, Curse, Peanut, Shie, SMLZ, Mark, and OMG. So I also had the 4-3. It's just I had the wrong side of it. And I only lost by 50-ish, I think. My best lineup yesterday in the 20-entry max did a little better, 519.9. So let's take a look at the difference between my lineup and the winning lineup. So I was about 30 points off, 29 point something. I had Shie instead of Kramer, and if I just swapped it, then I would have tied for first. Like if I had a Kramer captain team instead of a Mole Kramer captain instead of Shie captain, then I would have just swapped the carries for V5. So that's that. What did first place win? How much money did I miss out on? 127. So I would have broke even-ish. I would have won a little bit of money last night, like a very little bit, if that happened. But I had a small loss, which happens. So let's take a look at tomorrow's games. So when I before we go to the next games, the betting slip from yesterday, OMG, I thought OMG would win. That's a loss. But I didn't think that it was a good bet because there was no value on a 72% projected win. E-Star against LGD, I had LGD. I didn't bet it because I didn't think there was any value. I thought that LGD would win. But I did not think that the market was set correctly. Like, I just figured that the public would be on E-Star, so LGD should be like 40% implied win rate. I think that would have maybe gotten me to make a bet, because it is a considerable difference, like over time, if you're only playing the best lines. So let's take a look at tomorrow's games. FPX against LNG and Top Esports against Rogue Warriors. So first, FPX against LNG. FPX is going to win. It's almost certain. It's a 96% implied win rate. So I'm just going to take the favorite. I'm going to build my lineups with FPX. I don't see any way that they lose this matchup. They're playing Khan over Gimgoon. It doesn't matter who's in the top lane for them. I just think they're so much better than LNG. It should be a very simple victory. Maybe I could justify playing one lineup with LNG just in case they win, but you're basically lighting money on fire. So if you're that risk tolerant, good for you. I will not be doing that. Top Esports against Rogue Warriors. So when I initially got the line, it was at minus 1,000, 91%. I want Top Esports. Rogue Warriors plus 550. That would have been not a good bet. That would have been a better bet because the breaking news is that Jackie Love is not playing tonight. He is sick. So we have Crazy Yudong, who is replacing Haro, who I think is a very good jungler. I'm surprised they're making this switch. Ruby in the mid lane, Zwuji and Lei. Then for Top Esports, coming off of their mid-season cup championship, has 369, Karsa, Chow Chow, and Yuyanjia. So Jackie Love, I'm going to take this from over here. Since the starting ADC player, Jackie Love, could not start the game tomorrow due to his physical condition, and there is no substitute ADC player in the team, we temporarily adjusted Chow Chow to the ADC position for the game tomorrow. Jackie Love is in good health, but he needs to rest for 2 days because the doctor said so. So that's fine. Not a huge deal. I'm still going to be on Top Esports. Does it change things? Obviously, yes. The number dropped considerably, so it was at minus 1,000. Now it's at minus 833. So that does a lot to the value you're getting on the bet, because as the implied win percentage goes down, the amount of money that the sportsbook is willing to give you to entice you to make a bet goes up. It's not linear. So I don't think it's linear. I'm relatively certain about that. So yeah, based on the new numbers, I'm still not interested in it. I'm not betting on Rogue Warriors, but now it's more realistic to think that they could actually win. So let's go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. If you catch my drift. Only 7,800 entries in this one. So this is more like the one that I chopped 2 days ago. FPX against LNG. So Khan is playing over Gimgoon. Chenlun 17 is still starting over Flandre. In the jungle, we have Tian and XX. Doing B and Maple, LWX and Light. And then Crisp and Dwan are supporting. FPX 5,800. Okay. So FPX Top Esports. FPX Top Esports Rogue. FPX Top Esports Rogue. So that one switched. Top Esports FPX. So I mean, yeah, Knight's going to be extremely popular all day, every day. Double mid lineups are going to be extremely popular tomorrow. Jackie Love is not playing. Chow Chow. I'm very interested to see like what kind of team compositions they play, because it will not be the same as having Jackie Love, obviously. But I'm sure that like Knight can play Lucian, Yasuo, a lot of these different champions that he can take bot lane. So I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Knight go bot lane. I also wouldn't be surprised if Yuyanjia and Chow Chow like kind of go back and forth on who is playing support, who is playing the carry role, who is going mid lane. I think it's going to be more like V5 from last year, how they would swap positions around, because there are a lot of champions that can go between lanes. So I want exposure to Yuyanjia. I want exposure to Chow Chow. I want exposure to Knight. I could see a double support lineup working. It's just that both supports are going to come from the same team. A lot of cool options because of it. So 369, he should play every game. The top lane for Rogue Warriors, that is a substitute risk. So who's starting the first game? Okay, Crazy starting the first game. I think Crazy is the better player. Karsa, Haro, Yudong. So Yudong is playing game 1. Again, this is another sub risk. I think that Haro could easily go in for game 2. I think that he did a great job last split. I'm surprised that he took him out. Ruby and Wuming, another sub risk. Zwuji, not a sub risk. Lei, not a sub risk. So that's really it. I had somebody asking me on about FanDuel. I don't like FanDuel. I think that they leave a lot to be desired. I'll say that much. With like their league product and like their live scoring is pretty horrible and those kinds of things. But I do like their game style. I think that requiring players to do 3 different teams is annoying, but like a good kind of annoying because it forces you to be more creative. I think that they're like in the midseason cup when they had 3 games on one day, the way they incorporated all those games into one contest is much better than what DraftKings does, with like the multiple slates and just the rake and everything. So for FanDuel, what he was asking was about one-offs. Like, how do I build a 4-2-1 that has chances of actually winning? So it just goes back. I'm going to use this spreadsheet to kind of explain how I look at it. So for tomorrow, we have 4 teams. We have FPX, Top Esports, Rogue Warriors, and LNG. So in my opinion, FPX has the highest % chance to win. So if they are the most likely team to win, they will probably score the most points. And this isn't because of a specific kill score. It's because players score more points in general in wins than losses. So if I think that they are the highest % win chance, that means they have the best chance of going 2-0. If they go 2-0, they get the game not played bonus, which is a little bit added to their ceiling. Like, you could have a series go 3 games where they're all high kill score, and that's like a fringe kind of thing that could be the best case scenario. But for projection purposes, I think it's just fine to project them as 2-0. With Top Esports, they're second, so they will probably 2-0, but they're more likely to go 2-1 than FPX. So that decreases their projection a little bit. Then you have Rogue Warriors, who best case scenario can go 1-2. I guess they could win, but for projections, you're not going to project them to win. You're going to project them to go 1-2 or 0-2. So their numbers are going to be significantly lower than FPX and Top Esports. And then LNG, it's hard to even see them take a game off of FPX. So you're really going to cap out their projections at 1 win, just like Rogue Warriors. So when you're looking to get 3 different teams into one lineup, you need to ask yourself, who is going to win and how are they going to win? Right? So if you think that FPX is going to be extremely dominant and go 2-0, 2-0, that's so annoying. Excel's so annoying like that. 2-0, they sweep. Let's just put sweep. So if they sweep, then I want 4 players from FPX as like my first level of thinking is they sweep, they get the game not played bonus. They're probably just going to destroy LNG. I want 4 players from that team. Then you need to have at least 2 players from another team because there's 7 spots. You have 4 from one. Then you take 2 from another one. And then you have to go 1 from Rogue Warriors or 1 from LNG. So which team do you think will get more kills in their loss? You basically need a carry from one of these teams. You could consider jungle, but I typically, for one-offs, I would say it's AD carry, then mid, then jungle in terms of likelihood of being the highest scoring player on their team in a loss, because everyone sort of just plays around AD carries naturally, especially when you're losing. So then other things to take into consideration is, do I go 3-3 and then a one-off from one of these two teams. Or do I go like 3-2-2? Do I go 4 players and use the team slot? But the reason you don't typically want to use the team slot on one of the teams that you're projecting to win is because the difference between a winning team and a losing team is less than a winning player and a losing player. So let's just take Top Esports for example. So Top Esports, if they win 2-1, I would be fairly comfortable saying that their team slot scores between 45 to 55, right? The enemy team will probably score between, conservatively, 10 to 20. Why you do this? Top Esports, Rogue Warriors. Actually, like I could go a little bit more in depth in this, but and then let's just do Knight, or it would be mid. Just do mid lane. So a mid laner could score 180 points. Like that's in the realm of possibilities. So if you take last night into consideration, the winning mid laner should score between 80 to 180. It's a big range. There's a big range of outcomes there. The loser should get between 30 to 100. No, that's unlikely. 30 to 80 probably. Like, because you do have fringe cases, but I think the loser would normally score like 15, about 15 per loss, something like that. Because so much of your scoring is attached to your kill score, and kill scores are attached to winning and losing. So that's kind of how I would approach FanDuel. You have to ask yourself these kinds of questions, and it does transfer over to DraftKings as well. So you can take the mentality of, you can put that restriction on yourself. We call it more of a game stack, because you are kind of game stacking on FanDuel. It's just the way that they talk about it in the rules makes it seem like a little different. But that's how I would start going about it. I would also look at team spots and team spots and support spot. So the positions most dependent on winning, I would say the positions that are the most dependent on winning are the positions that benefit the most from the game not played bonus. So the best position for DraftKings and FanDuel to roster because you think they're going to win. Wait, that's confusing. So the team spot, you have lower variance, that you're not getting as much of an edge over the other options in that group because it's like 55 at a max versus 20. So it's a 35-point difference. If you like subbed out a mid laner and eliminated one of your potential winning mid laners, you're losing up to like 150 points. You could theoretically lose 150 points by picking the wrong mid laner. So prioritizing the game not played bonus is not really the question that he's asking. But if I was prioritizing the game not played bonus, it would be team and then top and then support, because it's like the least correlation. Team is the least correlated position with kill score. Top is second lowest, then it's support. I haven't done the data on that, but it's just from knowing League of Legends, that's how it should go. And then we have jungle, mid, AD carry. I think AD carry is the one that is the least dependent on their team winning, because teams still can play around their AD carry, and they'll likely be the last person alive on their team in a loss, in team fights and stuff like that. So yeah, basically I know that kind of got a little confusing at the end there, but it's not a simple answer to give. If it was that easy, I'd be building perfect lineups all the time. I don't pretend to build perfect lineups all the time. But I think we've gotten in the weeds. So now is a good time to end it. So thanks for watching. Like I said, if you have any suggestions for one-liners to throw into my video tomorrow, make sure you comment in the YouTube video from the day before. So like take the upcoming teams into consideration. If you have a funny joke about one of the teams or one of their players or a certain champion, I'm open to whatever. Just make it, not extremely offensive. I get a little offensive, but nothing out of control. But yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching. Please check out my Twitter, Twitch, YouTube channel, Facebook. I have a page if you want to follow me on that. And check out the Patreon. The Patreon is new now. It's a little different. Check out the Discord channel. And until tomorrow, have a good night.
No, you don't need the.
I'm doing this my way. He a legend, he a legend, he a legend. He a legend, he a legend, he a legend.
Fucking on it though. Then
He a
you can't
legend.
upload it.
Welcome to the league, to the league, to the league, to the league, to the league of items. Welcome to the league, to the league, to the league, to the league, to the league of items.
Pike on money, pike on money, pike on money. We making pike on money. Payday, about to throw a rack on China. Need some DFS advice, where can I find some? League of Items got the sheet with all the lineups and all the stacks that you need to get to diamond. League of